know?
So you work with a lot of photographers?
I do.
And so it's really funny because this is a photography centered podcast, but I'm never scared to not talk about it.
All right.
This is probably one of the few times I could talk about it, right? So like you work with a lot of photographers.
Yeah.
What are your opinions on that? Like, do you cringe at stuff like that? Like, how do you like? What's your relationship with photographers these days?
I have a great relationship with photographers, but I stay away from the ones that creepy.
Oh,
or
how do you find these things out? Like, is it just a model will be like
yeah, it's typically a model or experience that I've had because I also shot with a lot of photographers, and that was my first time getting to know them, you know, and a lot of these relationships have lasted through that, and I've gained new ones. But I always try to meet, if I'm in the planning process, I try to meet photographers first, talk to them, see where their studio is, what it's all about, because again, I am a woman in an industry. Photographers are male dominated, and I take the safety of myself and other women, and not just the women, but the men too, because anything could happen to anybody.
It's part of the whole collab culture is that like, let's meet up with this random guy on Instagram.
Exactly. And so to me, again, coming from the old school, that's just a scary thought for me. So,
super scary.
Right. So where I can control it, I do, you know, and then I always tell the talent to just let me know, because it's not about me wanting to oversee what my talent does. But I know a lot of people, so never hesitate to run someone by me and say, hey, Joy, you heard of this person? And if I don't, I can vet them through my industry, you know, and find out anything I need to know. So,
is my studio creepy?
I know, I have not heard.
Whoa! Did you guys? Dang! I gotta fix some stuff up in here.
No, it's not.
Do I gotta turn some more lights on or something? What do you mean?
No, I said it's not creepy.
You went. I was like, oh crap, man! People getting the heebie-jeebies in here.
No, but I've shot in the studio before, so I'm very familiar with this building and the whole.
Oh wait, in this studio?
Not this one, but one around the corner.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, like 10 guys work out of there, and none of them are ever working. So I'm very confused.
Right.
Now, creepy photographers, man, that is something that since I started photography, I knew I'd never wanted to get that rap or never be that guy.
Bad rap to have.
So, like, yeah. And so I guess the whole thing is that like, if you're a creepy photographer trying to actually take it seriously, you're the person we don't want to know that we're creepy. Like, so how do you treat stuff like that?
Oh,
is it just like blacklisted? Just like, I don't want to work with you?
It's not, I would not, I try to just give all the facts, you know? And there are times where I've worked with photographers who I haven't had the luxury of meeting. And then if I'm booking my talent for something, I tell them everything. I'm like, I can't, but what I see online is what I see. It looks legit to me. They're connected to certain people that I know. And so I just tell them, be careful, do your diligence. You know, if you get a gut feeling, get the hell out of there.
That's very true.
Yeah.
But it's so hard, I feel like, sometimes because you're in a situation where it's like you already signed up for it.
Yeah.
I've heard some horror stories where models are just like, I felt so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I felt bad because I just didn't want to leave. And then the model's worried about them getting a reputation for being, you know, being that mean girl, you know?
And that's why I tell my talent, let me be that person. If my talent has to walk out, if it's a paid booking and something is just not right, you let me know and you leave. I'll deal with it, you know, because I'm not going to put my talent's life or anything at risk. There's nothing that's worth it. You know, I've been in compromising positions as a model, and, you know, luckily I had the gut and the strength to just get up and leave because it didn't feel right. And I had this episode in New York. And so, and it was such a sketchy studio. It just, you know, I'm glad I don't know what could have happened, you know?
But you felt it.
Because I left. I felt it. At this guy, you went up there for the photo shoot. It was already in a creepy apartment up these windy stairs. And
in New York?
It was so gross.
It sounds
then you
terrible.
walk in there and there is a young lady did answer the door, but then the guy who's supposed to be taking your photos is laying in bed with the sheets up to here.
What the hell?
And I'm just like, what is this? And so I'm waiting in the quote unquote waiting room for my turn because there's another model in there. And the door was shut and I'm just listening and it just sounded creepy. I got up and I left.
That is so creepy.
I said,
they were like shooting behind a door and like he was in bed and stuff.
Yep. So
what kind of photography was he doing?
I have no idea. So like I said, I'm like, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories from models before.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love it when they call them out on Instagram. That's my favorite.
Yes.
I think they should blow the whistle on them.
I agree. or the photographers that want to, okay, no, why don't you put this strap down here, and then they're inching their way to you, trying to get naked or get, and pick, like, I came here for a fashion shoot. Why am I in my bra and underwear? It's just, things can happen. And when you're dealing
People
with
get caught up in the
girls,
hype too during a shoot too.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Or young girls that don't really have the balls yet, to stand up and say something.
Especially if the photographer has like some sort of clout. They feel like this is a good idea. He knows what he's doing.
Yep. So it can't be bad. So so many things can happen in that
I always say
scenario.
it's like, look at their portfolio, know what you're getting into. If he does
too many of those
erotic shots, then he's probably going to ask you to do some erotic shots.
Yep.
Don't
do your homework.
Yeah, if he's a street photographer who's trying to shoot fashion, he probably won't do fashion well. That's actually why I advocate for photographers to always have a photo of themselves for their profile at least.
Yeah.
I'm different. I make a lot of content so you can see me and get a grip of who I am.
Yep.
I'm not like most photographers.
Yep.
Most photographers hide behind a logo and you just see their work and they might not even type a caption.
Right.
And so and I tell people, I'm like, yo, look, that's,
I agree.
I'm like, that's creepy. Like you need to have have like your highlights, use that to show who you are, show your studio, show your space, show what you do.
Yes.
Because it makes models more comfortable too.
Absolutely. When there's full transparency. Because, not every photographer can afford to have a studio space. And, maybe your studio is in the basement in your apartment and it's perfectly fine, or your house. But let us see what that is. Let's see that it's safe to come to, and that let's see your face so we can at least feel like we know you.
Yeah. You look like you take a shower or something. Like, what's going on? You're like a 40-year-old guy with a beard and like.
But they use that excuse. Well, I'm behind the camera, so I don't want to promote myself. And I'm like, that's not. It's just about making yourself human. But you want all of our images. You're picking us to work with based on everything you see on our social media, our websites, and all of that.
You see everything.
Everything.
Oh, everything. See, guys, that was a primer for how not to be a creepy photographer.
Yes.
Jesus.
Don't be creepy.
It's
not cool.
I can't stand y'all. Y'all really piss me off.